Olá, welcome to the Innovation for the Future Crowd Circle. Today it's me and Thierry. Olá, Thierry.
Bom dia, Marco.
My proposal is for us to go to check-in and go with what is alive in the field. How that sounds to you, Thierry?
Good idea.
Okay. Do you want to start the check-in?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
I'm in kind of a double space. I feel really vulnerable. I don't know. I have to see what happened actually. But last night in the house next to me, there were some people, and I don't know. Normally I get a warning if there are neighbors coming, but I didn't get any. And I guess I heard something at 5 o'clock in the morning. And what happened in me is somehow this is kind of very deep sensitivity, just poof. So there was this little kid being scared, just activated in me. And I can still feel that. And on the bigger picture, I feel like it's kind of also the whole scene is changing. So I think we enter a new season, and some say a new chapter or a new book in our lives, and somehow it feels a bit like that. So I mean, in the unknown. Yeah, then we can continue later, but that's basically the check-in.
Thank you, Thierry. I'm with fear in my system. I'm with a lot of small logistic around the house and the children, and I will also traveling today, and I will be out of home for 9 days, and yeah, a lot of logistic, and my fear is supporting me in planning and finding the stuff and the clothes and the material that I need for the training and all that stuff, and it's happening. It's that fear is in me, and I'm also with my anger, particularly in making things happen and putting limits to the people, particularly my ex-wife, and finding spaces because something changed in these days, and yeah, it convoking my anchor to put limits and to say and to stay in my space. There is also joy in my field because I will be this weeks with people that I enjoy, and that is and also doing stuff that that really turns me on. I'm glad about that, having this preparation and going and doing. This week, since the last circle, I'm noticing that my anger is more alive, like it's coming out, the anger about what is really important for me, like the soils, what we are doing to the planet, and this Innovations for the Future movement, and the culture, the regenerative and responsible cultures, this stuff that I'm working and experimenting and researching. It's coming very alive. It's triggering my anger, And I had the opportunity of come back into the school, with that young people that made the retreat with me and Jill, and talk with them and listen and see what happened and stay with him. And that brought me some glad, because the things landed in their system, something changed in their dynamics and also in themselves. And it was really amazing to listen from them. And I'm noticing the importance of doing this work, and also received some phone calls from people asking for references and interviews and about the innovation for the future and stuff that is happening around the country. And I'm seeing that, yeah, this work with the going to in the circle and recording the circle, doing the researching sessions and recording, doing the interviews, the game world builder interviews, it's really shifting something in the field. It's like the information is flowing, people are connecting using that information, more people are arriving to the Telegram groups. Yes, something is shifting, something it's really shifting. And I'm seeing that. I'm seeing, and at the same time, my anger is really going up, in the sense of this is important. I want to do this, and this is important. I want to do this. I want to take care of that. Gabriel did an interview with me on last Friday, and I was seeing the recording yesterday, and I noticed the level of anger that I'm in the interview, and the clarity and the integrity and what really is pissing me in this culture, in these days. And that is very alive in me, and in a way brought me sadness that we have so much to do, and it's like people are distracted. And at the same time, that there is so many people awakening and so many movements doing stuff. I saw a documentary about the creative cultures and the culture creatives. And that's it. It's happening. It's happening in all over. We are thousands, not. We are thousands. No, we are millions, not thousands. Millions already. And that is something. That is something that is also present in me arriving here. Thank you, Thierry. It's my checking for now.
Thank you. Yeah, this morning I got reminded of that again. I was just reading the Daily Tao. Maybe that resonates also with what you said. All difficult things in the world are sure to arise from a previous state in which they were easy, and all great things from one in which they were small. Yeah, and it also resonates with the presencing, with the U-curve prototyping. It's one of the most important things I picked up from the last 3 years. Was one of these guys, they hosted the online platform, and this guy was, I don't know, maybe I shared the story before, then you can just put stop on the button. But this guy was sharing his life experience, just roughly like in the around the 2008 or so. He was in California, Silicon Valley, and a couple of his projects were busted. So basically, he was living in a car for a year. That's what's happening in the United States, apparently a lot. and then he started up again. He got like $500,000 or so. Started another business, and then afterwards he got totally bankrupt. And from that he learned a lesson to start small with just very small, simple prototypes. And by now they have this platform. I forgot the name, but it's for all kind of online trainings that they facilitate. And they also did it that year for the presencing. And it really stayed with me because, you know, I've also always had this kind of great visions and stuff like that, but it's not grounded, so that maybe you can keep that in the field.
Yeah, this week something moved around the Fundação Terra Agora. We are waiting for the answer of the government, and at the same time people are reaching us to know more about the project, to plan with us the guardianship and landowners and things like that. Something changed there also this week. It happens. Yeah, usually, yeah, people reach us in this week. And yeah, the sensation it's that the things are already there. Things are already there, and it's like people are connecting, or people want to look or want to be visible. I don't know, something around this, something around, something starts moving. It's small signals. Nevertheless, it represents movement. And I'm sitting with that. But maybe it's the spring coming, maybe no. Maybe it's this shift in the movement of the earth. And I'm also noticing in myself like in me it comes as a sense of urgency, like now we need to need to go fast, or need to not fast in the sense of doing more rapidly, but in the sense of being more aware, putting more the focus, the attention in what needs to be really have attention. Yeah, maybe it's this focus thing. And I have the fear. I have the fear about what I don't know that will happen, particularly with this climate change and what this really represents. That in another day it comes the report of the climate change progress, and it's crazy stuff. It's not happening. We are very far off wherever we need to be for something to create hope. And I'm without fear. without fear, with that fear in my system. And I'm starting to listen to some conversations around how can I be resilient? How can I be independent of something or have my own mobile home or things like that? Like people starting conversations around having a home that could be, that they could move in a way. Like something will happen and I need to move fast. This kind of stuff. I'm starting to listen that conversation around with people around. Like this nomad movement, this nomad thing that we are seeing in this, particularly in the youngest, less than 40, 30, 20s, around that. Yes, there is that thing of going to each place and meet other cultures and that kind of stuff, but there is also an element of fear, like I'm ready to go to another place if I need it. If something happened in this place, I can move fast to another place, and this kind of stuff is, I'm seeing that, and I'm hearing that stories. Like in a way, it's like the culture are more volatile. I don't know what to say in English. Volatile, maybe it's that. Yeah, and it's with me. It's what I'm noticing, and I'm noticing also in myself that sense of urgency. You know, what that triggers in you, Thierry?
No, I still had that. Got reminded of that one practical question around the Terra Agora. I never found out the details because last year I was in touch with I think with Ivan and somebody else, and they suggested that there was like a large piece of land that was already gifted, but I don't know if it needed to put trees on it or something, or that there was already something on it. Because I connected them with this CO2 compensation program. So that's one practical question. And on a deeper level, also listening to your stories, I pick up like a different part of the field. I think maybe because I'm trained as an economist, and I last couple of weeks I followed a bit like the unfolding banking crisis, and I have the feeling that I mean I can put one detail on the table with this Credit Suisse. I saw one article, and basically the Swiss government and the Swiss people have put in 200 billion euros, something like that, which is about the same as what happened in the banking crisis in 2008 in Holland in total. And this is just the beginning. So I feel that, like, you know, most people are still making their money in the old world, but it's now becoming more and more clear that it's kind of falling apart. And then coming back to the small, you know, I've been doing some sowing some beans and for the beauty some tulips. It's, you know, it stuff takes time, and some things don't even come up. I mean, I've put some pots around my house with some seeds for herbs. There's one pot I see some little sprouts coming out, and for the rest it's not so much. So I think that's also basically where we are. If you look at the ecosystem of the innovation for the future, there will be projects and communities that are really doing well, and other projects that we come in and think, okay, this looks more like a nightmare. So I think we in this kind of mix, and somehow you have to find your right spot. For myself, I'm considering now next Friday, or maybe Thursday, I go to this Karuna Meditation Center, and that's where last year I brought a World Peace Flame lamp I had from a project in Holland, and I thought, okay, that lamp needs to be there, but I'm now thinking maybe I also need to be there. Maybe I need to take that lamp and go on some journey. That's basically the kind of shifting sense, finding out what is my role and what is your role in this journey. And if the chapter in the big world changes, our role can also change. That's what I feel with it.
About the foundation, we are in a waiting period, meaning that the government has until May of this year to give an answer about our request to be a foundation. That is a political decision, foundation in Portugal, and we are waiting until May. They have until May to give us an answer, and they already make some questions, and the process is going forward. And yes, we have the first land is in Idanha Nova. It's more or less 1,800 hectares of land. And it's Idanha Velha, it's in the middle, it's a village, and it's the land over the village. It's a very beautiful land, and it has several zones inside. There is a part of forest, there is a part of olives for olive exploration of olive oil, and other part of cows and things like that. And there is different inside, and they already have a collective, the Guardian already have a collective. The project's called Idanha Viva, and they already have a website also. And they are designing the project. They are designing in the foundation. You have this aim of designing for several generations. Like you have a project that it's not for 10 or 20 years, but it's for 10 or 12 generations. You think in a long term. And they already have a team with technicians and community building and all that stuff, and they are designing the project, the vision for the land in several generations, and it's the phase we are. And the legal part, waiting for the approval of government. In the first project, the Guardian is designing the project, and stuff is happening there. And every year we have people going to plant trees and they are doing a lot of experiments, what works, what didn't work in several places. They do meetings with technical people. They invite different technical people to go and visit the land and bring the wisdom and this kind of stuff. It's happening. It's the movement. It's happening, and they have a team. I don't know exactly how many, but near 10 people around working there. And something is happening, and it's a beautiful place. And we had also some contacts about other people that are doing other kind of projects, eco village or hotels and things, that approach us to see how can they design the projects with the mindset of the foundation and with the land in the foundation. That some contacts are on the table. That is very interesting to see. Like particularly in the young people near 30s, that is happening. They already don't have the thing of the ownership, and this idea of not being owner of the land, it's normal for them. Yes, we don't want to be owner. We want that the land could be used in something, and I want to go to another place when I have 60 or whatever, and I want to know that the project is continuing and people are honoring the regenerative principles that are working in this land. And this kind of conversation, I'm hearing a lot in this people around 30s. Yeah, you have one of these projects near you in Santiago that is traditional dream factory, and Sam and the team, that they are in this spiral and this move with these ages and young people, and they have a completely different mind and way of approaching to the stuff that I have. They are very digital, they are digital nomads, but at the same time they have the very hard knowledge and permaculture, and they have very skillful in different arenas. And they have how to say a power of mobilizing people and calling people for doing stuff. If you follow the activities that they do, that it's easy to have 10, 20, 30 people working in the land for doing something. And they have this power of mobilization and stuff. It's happening. And yeah, I'm curious and I'm learning with them also. And I'm seeing that this things, it's coming. And there is a lot of work to do in this context. Yes. I'm very enthusiastic with the movement around the foundation and what the foundation is creating, the kind of vortex that is creating with connecting people from different fields and from different knowledge and practitioners and scholars, and all this is happening. All this is happening, and it's beautiful to see. And yes, and with approaches that are scientific and with approaches that are more experiential, that is all on the table. And I'm interested to see I'm really have this interest to see other things that will unfold.
Okay.
It's a big challenge to, like, we have I don't know if I already said these examples, and if so, please say so, Thierry, but we have to, like, in the region of Lisbon, we have two great examples about what is this of thinking in several generations. Like, you know, Monsanto near Lisbon, the forest, that forest has three to four generations now. That hills was a desert. It was nothing there about 18 years ago. It was a guy that designed that and imagined that and put donkeys with water to put water in the plants, and they plant. And now we have this beautiful park and all this amazing forest, urban forest there. That is a 3 to 4 generations project. If you want to imagine what is possible to do in a 3 to 4 generation thing, Monsanto, it's a great example. And you have Sintra. Sintra is also a man-made forest. And if you go 200 years ago, you don't have that forest there, that you have hills without trees and all that stuff. All that beauty, all that forest was created in the last 200 years. We are talking about 8 to 10 generations. And that creates that amazing stuff, that village, that tourist thing, that place of creativity, because you have a huge team of creative cultures there, people that are experimenting with this stuff in Sintra. And that all came from someone else, in this case, Dom Fernando, the king, the husband of Dona Maria, the queen, to have this dream and start planting. And he put trees from all over the world there in that thing. That was a man-made, and it's 8 to 10 generations. If you want to see what is possible to do in 8 or 10 generations, Citter is a great example. Like we have this. This is the kind of thought we call this the legacy thinking. It's the kind of thinking that we want to bring, or the level of thinking that we want to bring to the table and to the projects. Really think ahead, very in several generations, and see what really is possible. And in some places that needs to be, we need to take care of the soil in the first generations, the first 100 years. First is we need to take care of the soil, and just to build the forest after that, because we need water and we need soil and we need whatever. That this kind of stuff to be planting it, and it doesn't mean that the land is not useful, because yes, you can have like essential oils or other kind of activities with that thing of creating soil. With there is so many things that are possible around this thought of really creating legacy, really creating conditions, life conditions for the next generations. Yeah, that's it. That's what comes alive when with your question and what is there. And I'm seeing in myself how glad I feel with this conversation, like talking about this and this legacy thinking and this approach, and at the same time seeing the energy of people. Like, yes, if you take the ownership outside of the plate, like the foundation do that, people really start focusing into what is necessary to do: the forest, the village, the eco-village, what needs to be done, the creating community, the whatever. It's there. And it's wow. It's really amazing to see that. And it's also great, like I had a conversation with someone that has 200 hectares and wants to build like an eco-village and forest, and the people is fighting with, okay, but how can we design the village inside the forest or near the forest? What is the principles? What works and didn't work here? And I shared with them the common model, the common land model, the 3 areas and the 4 returns, and they went to the side. Yeah, okay, that's it. That it's not that they will repeat what common land is doing, but they now have someone to talk and share, and that common land has several interventions around the world that using that model and different experience. And now they have someone else to start a conversation and see, okay, what did you do? What did you learn? What happened? What you do in this side and that side and that side. And they could bring knowledge and experience and inspiration for the designing of them. It's this kind of stuff that really is amazing. We are experimenting a lot, and we need to put this information on the table of people. And I'm seeing that the foundation has this role of really putting different parts of the system here and outside connected for something completely different to appear in the land, in the places. And it's beautiful to see that. Like it's very beautiful to see that Idanha Viva is talking with the people in Idanha Velha, and it's inviting them to see the project and to participate in the project and to bring the families, because it's mostly old people, and the sons and the grandchildren are outside. They don't live there. They are inviting the people to come and see and connect with the project and see, because they are from there. That is the community. That is the legacy that is there. That people live there for more than 1,000 years. That is history. That is legacy. That people know a lot of stuff around that thing. It's amazing to see that. It's amazing to see that the things are shifting. The way we are doing the stuff, it's different. It's respecting. It's openness. It's not going with that thing that I know. how to do it. I go open and I make questions and I invite people and I make more questions, and this happening. This is happening with the people that lives there, the people that are abroad, and it's beautiful to see that, to see these examples, and to see. And I'm glad that the foundation could have this role of not intervene, but be a space holder for something completely different to happen. Yeah. Thank you, Thierry, for the question.
Yeah, it's good just listening to your story, and at the same time now I hear next door voices, so I like my irritation, my anger get triggered, and I think that's what's happening with a lot of people in the world. You know, this week I saw an article like in Coimbra, they plan to plant like a few thousand trees. Like last year they didn't complete their planning, and I think, I don't know how many people live in Coimbra, 100,000 or so. Whatever, or 50,000. In 2020, when I was just first doing research around the whole shift, I was looking at this 1 trillion tree planting initiative, and then I realized, you know, it always starts small with a few people, but if you every year you would inspire 3 people to do the same, just plant 1 tree, then in 10 years you've planted an enormous amount of trees together. And another thing, what on the positive side, what I saw in the Netherlands, it was this area. Maybe I shared it before, but it was I think in 1950 or so. They put an electricity plant in that area, and there was a lot of sand being deposited in the lake, like the big lake we have in the middle of the country, and basically they left it alone. And in that situation with like basically like swampy area, Netherlands, so willows and birches and other stuff starts growing, and now 70 years later, basically without doing anything by man, it's one of the most interesting pieces of forest I've seen. I mean, it's so vibrant. Why? Because you can there's only one on half of it you can just walk around, and then you can cross the land, but the rest is basically a nature reserve. So there's not all these crazy humans running around there doing stuff purely by nature. And of course I'm aware that here the climate is different, so it will have kind of different dynamics. But even here, you know, I've seen like these valleys in Alentejo, where one season I put up a tent, and then the next season, you know, we didn't cut the path, so it was totally overgrown, and then, you know, you have brambles 1 meter high and all the stuff just growing like crazy, even there. So I think definitely there's hope, and just coming back to this kind of disturbance, it's also going deeper in ourselves, that we can really be the change that we want to see, and not getting distracted. I don't necessarily think we have to save the world, but maybe we rather have to save ourselves and stay fresh and vibrant. And one last thing, when you were talking about this younger generation, I think we have a different role. I'm still very aware of like you could say the pain of the ancestors. And I realized recently also, you know, maybe I was in conversation with one of my nephews around it, then, you know, this guy is 18 years old. He just went to university. And just like these kids that you talk about, he has a different role. And somehow, if we can just light a fire and just be grateful to what has come before and learn the lessons, we can really lighten the burden and not act out of fear, but really out of trust and love. And again, you know, nature is a miracle.
Yeah, there is several questions there, like this question of legacy thinking. Yeah, we are a product of at least the 7 generations behind us, and we have an influence at least in the 7 generations in front of us. Like, yes, we are in the middle. In that sense, we are in the middle. And we received something, and we have a role in what we will pass to others. And that is a huge question. Like, if I'm doing stuff for myself, and of course it's me. If I'm doing stuff, what change if I have this thinking of this kind of thought of what I will leave for the next generation, not what I will use, like the water I'm using, the soil that the trees that I'm cutting, but what I'm putting there for the next generation. What change in the system? What is the difference? If you have, I have a friend that puts a very interesting question about the dams, the barragens. Like, imagine that they are paid not for the water that the people buy, but for the water that they have inside the dam. How much water that they have there, more we pay them. If we do that, they have to design completely different systems to bring water to there, design forest around and that kind of stuff to really capture water and fill the dam. That how can we change the models and the way we think to have this legacy thing on the top of, yes, we are part of life, and as part of life, like life is using themselves, right? The lion hit the gazelle hit the grass, and the grass, this is all happening, and it has a balance around the thing, and we are part of that. And in that sense, the thing is working, and we do it that with the proper conscience of what we are doing and what we are delivering for the next generation. That is a very interesting question. How to design my action, my everyday action around these principles, around this kind of thought. And the second thing the second question that you brought to me with your thing, it's how designing my own life and cultivating myself and the way I live really has a role in the greater system, because there is this thing that I'm doing the things only by myself. You are selfish, and I don't know. The thing really starts for each one of us. The point of start, it's not to doing outside thing, it's to doing inside thing. It's to do the thing in myself and really working in myself and the way I'm thinking and acting in where I am, in the home I live with my family, in the place and the city I live in. It's around me. It's what I can do. It's around me. It's myself and around me. And that is a very interesting question. How can the changes in my life really support and really communicate with the changes all on the macro level, on the meso and macro level? And that is also a very interesting question. And yeah, that 2 questions came from your sharing. Come to me from your students.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting with them. And in a way, it's questions that also are very alive in me.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that I've seen different very beautiful examples. Like one part is like people who just started planting trees, for instance. But the other also, like on the spiritual part, people who just dove deep inside, and like the sages, and they don't necessarily have like a beautiful picture. Some had like a vision of a great temple, but some didn't. They only had the love for the divine. And also around there, different places you've seen like paradises sprout. Like some years ago, I've been with this in India and Kerala with Amma, this saint who hugs everybody. And it's just amazing. I mean, it's just like this how do you call it? Like little islands on the coast where her family also lived. They were just fishermen. And now I mean, there's a whole village, there's a university, there's one of the top hospitals in India. Why? Because she was just so overflowing with love that could all happen. And I think, you know, we all have our path. I see again that somehow my path goes more like inward. Well, at the same time, I really feel deep inspiration from what I said. You know, the people starting planting trees, like the green belt movement in Africa and things like that. You think it's possible, and so I think they are two paths that they go parallel. If we have like the inner wisdom and the inner love, then we don't have to do it out of fear, but just purely out of love. We don't have to push anyone doing it. We don't have to criticize people not being interested in the beautiful stuff that we're doing.
There is also a third question there that you are bringing to me. Like it's coming to me through your reflection. Like, and Daniel talks about this in the designing regenerative culture. There is a promise. There is a hope on the table now that is this social innovation, that the transformation that social innovation puts on the table for the first time really change the way we act as culture without a war. In the past, for something to really change in the culture, the war was the instrument for that thing to put on the table. And in the social innovation movement, there is this hope and this belief, let's call that this, or this assumption. It's danger to use these words, but there is this tenet that it's possible to do the transformation without war, and with social labs and social engagement and stuff. And I'm a social innovator. I'm this creative culture thing, and I believe that. I believe, and I have that hope that this is possible. Meaning that doing this work, going for doing this work, it's also at the same time going in a crusade of peace, going in constructing or trying to construct experiments that has the the well-being of life in the center, not the war or the threat of life as a tool. And that is also something that speak with me in this context. And in that sense, it's like we need all this diversity, like people going in the street and starting meditating for something to change, for the conscience of an issue, a complex issue to really change and unfold, and people to go in the field and experiment and planting trees and see what happened and what could happen there. And like this needs to be at the table at the same time for the several energies of what is to be alive and to be human really flow, and we don't have to use guns to do the social transformation. And that is also a question that speaks to me. And there is a beautiful project here in Universidade de Lisboa with Helena Marujo. She has a cathedra, a UNESCO cathedra, that's called Education for Peace and Sustainability. And it's really bringing people together and talking about this, what peace really is. And it's a very complex thing. Like, because I could say that I'm in peace now, but I'm really in peace with my past, with my trauma, with my mind, my monkey mind, with all that stuff. What it really means to be in peace, inner peace and outer peace. It's really a very interesting question. And Helena is bringing people around the country talking about this and giving capacity them to really put this issue on the table, like going for what means to be human and what is the qualities that humans have that could support life and coming together. That is also a third question, and this, for me, in this context of exploring in myself how I want to be and show up in the world. And I'm noticing the time. It's also my way of checking out. Thank you, Thierry.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Like the peace. I think it's not a place, but it's somehow a journey. I can see it in myself, but also just hearing from some of the greatest sages in history that that some of them still had anger in them and stuff like that. You know, they didn't want to see anybody. They just lived in a cave. So I think, like, to summarize it, we're in a great adventure, and for me, also just the state I'm in right now, I think it's good also to keep seeing the beauty, and like this beach that I projected behind me. Probably I go there afterwards to write some stuff, and not get irritated by the other things that are also happening. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Thierry. See you next week. If not, have a nice retreat.
Thank you.